I know what everyone's thinking. Where the fuck is all the work? It's been really slow for a lot of people. I know there are a lot of people that are working, but I know the majority of people are really struggling right now. And that's what we're here to talk about today on this episode of Producers Happy Hour. We're going to dive into what is happening or what we think is happening, sister.
I mean, yeah, we can totally tell you what we think is happening. We hope that it makes you feel better, right? Because now we're all kind of spiraling, wondering who it is, wondering what it is. So it may not be a solution, but it could be the reason and help you, navigate this time right now because we're in very, very weird times.
We are. So stick around to the end because we just want to make sure you know that you're not alone, and we'll have some ideas on how to get through these rough times. Grab a drink and let's go. You're listening to Producers Happy Hour. I'm Lawrence Lewis.
And I'm Sister Christian.
And we're here to help you unravel the complexities of film and commercial production.
Whether you're a seasoned producer, a production executive, a bidder, or a key part of the production team, we're here to equip you with the insights that I know Lawrence and I wish we had when we started out.
So you can navigate today's production challenges, conquer those demanding clients, and unlock the magic to seamless production.
All with a cocktail, of course. So grab a drink, say goodbye to the gatekeepers, and let's dive into the art of producing.
Oh, hi, Lawrence. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Fortunate enough to be working, so I am a little crazed right now, but it's been a while. Like I had a long time off, and it started to be like, well, what's happening? Fortunately, things are coming through my way, but I know a lot of people aren't, and I get a lot of emails from people, and we need to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the emails are the thing for me because I've always struggled with reaching out to people and saying, I need work because I know how I feel when I receive them. Like I feel bad that I can't help. I feel guilty that if I am working, feel, it's so many emotions come up and we know that we can't control the world. I wish, boy, if I were in charge,
oh boy,
let me tell you how much better shit would be. But since we don't, I know how I feel, so I've always struggled reaching out. But I mean, I do think that reaching out still builds that community that we always talk about. So it's important. And we have been getting inundated, right?
Yeah. We're going to dive in, but we need a drink. Christian, what are you drinking for happy hour?
I'm just having my good old standby, a nice dirty martini, Kettle One, a little bit, some olives and a prayer.
And a wish. Great.
Anything.
I've never had a slow gin fizz before, but since things are slow, slow gin fizz, 1.5 ounces of slow gin, 1 ounce of lemon juice, freshly squeezed, of course, 3/4 ounce simple syrup, club soda, lemon, cherry, whatever you got. I'm going to be honest, I didn't have time to make it, so I have an IPA. But I wanted to talk about a slow gin fizz.
Sounds delicious. But before we get started, have you ever listened to one of our episodes but wanted to hear more than what we can fit into a 30-minute show?
I always want more. So we've got all the resources, links, and some current industry news and other information that you need to stay on top of, plus bonus insights that we didn't really get a chance to mention in the episode, and it all gets delivered to your inbox for free.
It's called our episode guide. It gives you more insight into each topic, into our interview guest, and each industry happening that you need to stay on top of. It comes out every other Tuesday, which is the same day our new episodes drop.
To get it, just click on the link in our show notes or go to producershappyhour.com/episode guide, and we'll send you all the goodies. Let's dive in. This episode came up, Christian, because we had one of our boot camp students kind of ask us straight up, hey, what the hell's going on with the jobs, with the industry? What's going on? Are we going on strike again? Which I have some dirt on. You wrote a very thoughtful email with a lot of insight that I thought it would be worthwhile to share with the whole audience.
And when I was writing this, I was like, how is this flowing so quickly? And it was because I do, like, there are what I would say 5 to 7 different reasons that are all coming together as a head. And I do feel like we're in the middle of an industry shift again, like a reset. So, I mean, even beginning to predict how we're coming out of this is not prepared for that yet. But yeah, I mean, I do feel we got here pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Over the course of the last few years. And here we are.
Here we are. So kind of kicking it off, one of the reasons, if the question is, where are all the jobs? What's going on with the industry?
Why is it so slow?
Union negotiations, they're happening. And there's been a bunch of back and forth between freelancers and unions lately. And they are hashing things out. And my friend, I don't know when this episode comes out, but at the time of this recording, a friend of mine, his friend of a friend, so it's all hearsay. Take it with a grain of salt.
I love it. This is my favorite kind of gossip.
He's on the negotiating team at IATSE. And the word is they're close to making a deal.
I know the stomach to strike is not there, right? And last year, we know that we're in this predicament now because of last year's. Part of the reason why is we were on strike last year. And the stomach to strike again is just not there.
And don't get us wrong, everybody should be getting paid what they're worth. And we do need to make some advancements in this industry to make it a little more humane. But yeah, I think people are desperate to get back to work.
I think that savings were depleted. I think that, people were shuffling houses. They were doing all kinds of things to support. They were making sacrifices in order to support. And there's only so much blood you can get from a stone, right? None.
The thinking is that the negotiations maybe have spooked some of the agencies into committing to larger jobs. Here in the U.S., at least, I think a lot of stuff's going overseas. Yeah, I think that's kind of a bit of it, right?
I do. I think that right now, the last thing, because it happened last year. Last year, we saw 2 weeks before the SAG strike was official, streaming services, everybody was canceling everything left and right because they were nervous even about it. So big agencies are not committing right now because the last thing they need is to have a job canceled because of a strike.
Yeah, exactly.
So another big one that has happened.
Do tell.
This one's an interesting one. This ties back to the AICP, in my opinion. So big agencies, as we know for years, have started their own in-house production companies, quote unquote. And they don't have signed directors because that would be a conflict. They do triple bid internally. So they keep the jobs in-house because that means the markup is just kept all in under one roof. Even the AICP recently put out a letter warning companies, don't loan out your directors, which is originally, I think it's called white labeling or something, right? Which I know that term is bad. It's warning production companies not to loan out their directors. But honestly, if there's no work going around and you've got signed directors on your roster, how are you supposed to pay them? Yeah. But it actually encourages agencies to keep the work in-house more. See, I remember when this whole big thing started with agencies doing their own production companies, the creatives would complain that the directors were not caliber because they weren't the big signed directors at the big companies. So now, if you're giving agencies your big directors, then what's the incentive to ever come back to you again? So that's part of the slowdown, I feel, is in-house agency work.
All right, so here's another thing. We talked about this before on the podcast, but it's like the way people are consuming commercials is changing. We've known about it for years. I remember coming back, I filled in for an EP at a company like in 2016 or something like that in New York, and I came back to LA and I'm like, warning, warning, warning. Like it's just not a thing, or it's a dying thing, that the $1 million 30-second commercial. Close your eyes and picture a time when we all watched from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. 3 channels.
Oh, must-see TV.
Yes, the entire country watched
Friends,
3 channels,
Seinfeld.
and then maybe 4.
Exactly. Fox.
That's how we saw ads, but it doesn't work that way anymore. And no one's attention span, 30 seconds. I don't even watch 30 seconds of a TikTok. It's like, you got to get in, you got to get it out. And the way we consume content is changing, and it's obviously having an impact. Ads need to be fast and cheap because they're so disposable. And I'll say this again, I probably said on this podcast before. I remember talking to a CMO of like some cosmetic brand, and they, their budget for video content used to cover 2 national broadcast ads a year. That's what they had. That's what they could do. In order to keep up with just the current marketplace of content, they needed to produce 50 pieces of content a month with the same exact budget.
Which is just, yeah.
So you can see how, and of course, it doesn't all have to be a big, national spot, but still, you're taking that money, dividing it up because each, it's more targeted, it's more focused, and you need more of it, more consistency.
Have you ever wanted to take your commercial film production skills to the next level?
Oh, I always do. Based on that, we've got something special for you. We want you to join us for our very first in-person Producers Bootcamp.
That's right. It's super exciting. You're hearing it here first.
Yeah.
On Sunday, April 28th, 2024, coming up very soon in Santa Monica, California, we, Lawrence and I, are hosting a half-day immersive deep dive into the art of commercial film production.
I mean, talk about community and mentorship, right? We've finally got someone kicked us in the ass. His name's Jordan Brady. And he's like, just fucking do it. So we're doing it. We're going to be in person, and we're going to import all of our knowledge into your brains. Limited spots are available just to make sure that everyone gets personalized attention. It's going to be a very small group, so grab your seat now.
And we're so fortunate to be presenting alongside Jordan Brady's Commercial Directing Bootcamp. This workshop is your ticket to mastering the intricacies of producing stellar content at top-tier levels.
That's right. Elevate your filmmaking skills with insights covering everything from deconstructing director's treatments to negotiating agency and client relationships, all from the producer's point of view.
This course runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., 4 solid hours, and is only $495. Hell, that's a bargain. Plus, it's the day after Jordan Brady's Director's Bootcamp, so you can make it a weekend of learning and growth.
And as a special bonus, we're offering a $100 discount to everyone who is participating in Jordan Brady's Commercial Directing Bootcamp.
Head over to producershappyhour.com/bootcamp to secure your spot today.
Which kind of leads us into number 4, which is social media. So I've seen in the last year or so the importance of the digital ad versus the broadcast ad becoming more important, and equally for sure, equally as important, but almost more important than the broadcast ad, right? That happens in treatments, that happens in agency briefs. So that's what I've been seeing. And then adapting that to how Gen Z views ads and said it's all social media. So brands are basically scrambling to figure out what grabs their attention. It's a trial and error basis for sure, because you don't know what's going to work until it fucking works, like trending and viral and all those lovely words for you. Yeah. What's on your For You page? Like it will, if somebody doesn't like it, like quote unquote, smash that like button. If you're not smashing that, then it's not working. And then the advertiser needs to pivot. And pivoting costs money. They've already spent money on these ads. And so they want to spend less so that they can make a volume, and then they can put out and see what works now.
Yeah, I was looking at some posts. This was a little while ago, I think last year on WhereSpot. Somebody posted about work being slow, and someone on a brand team commented that they get more ROI out of paying a content creator a couple $100 to do a little user-generated content than they do on commercials. They spend $300,000 on. So.
So beware. Well, I think that part of this, we'll get into some things that you can be doing, but just know that the old attitudes of, it's just for digital, it's just for social media. Don't do that. That absolutely will incite the person that you're working with, because they are very important. This is how we consume advertising now. So think about that.
And we're going to have a whole episode on that. I think the next episode with an agency called Loud and Clear, then that's exactly what they do. They come onto your set and they capture all this social media and all these assets. Good producers these days, you need to know how to partner with them and make them feel welcome and give them what they need, because it's becoming more important. Even though you've got a team of 60 to 80 people and they've got a team of 5, don't think that they're dismissible.
They're not.
So next, streaming services. They've had an impact on commercial production.
Really?
Yeah, you don't say.
Come on. They certainly have had an impact on not cable.
Right, yeah.
Gone.
Right?
Yeah. So, it'd be silly to think that they didn't have an impact on advertising.
Yeah. It's like there's Amazon Prime, there's the Prime with commercials, there's the Prime without commercials. It's really shifted the game. And a lot of networks have kind of been trying to get into this space. And I think, there's a lot of layoffs in this space. So the whole streaming services industry is kind of a little bit up in arms. The shareholders want to see better books, and if they're stopping producing content. I saw this documentary and I was like, it was a race, right? So Netflix is like, we're just going to spend our way into this huge market share, and they did it, and they won the game. Congratulations! Now they've stopped producing all this content. They stopped producing all these shows. That's a big part of the slowdown as well.
Even though they need advertising for these, ad-based, model that they have now, they're creating that advertising on their own in studio. They're not going out to ad agencies, and then ad agencies are going straight to, production companies doing triple bidding. Like, that model is becoming ancient, which is another hot take. They're hiring their own marketing teams in-house. They're not going out to an ad agency, which is traditionally how the production company gets the money. So I see more and more production companies actually pivoting to client direct, which is a little bit of hope here. So clients normally have their own marketing teams, that kind of thing. And the agencies have become, we always have said it for years that agencies are bloated. They're taking 40%, it's so much out of a budget. Like, say a client has $3 million to spend on something, 40% of that goes in the agency's pocket. So really, once it gets to the production company, you have $600,000 to do a job. It's not $3 million.
And we've met so many people through this podcast, through Producers Bootcamp, that are involved in these small direct-to-client agencies or production companies. It's a team of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, and they can get shit done for $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. And they're saving on the ad agency fees as well.
That coupled with how social media is now is vertical.
Yeah.
You're not looking at this cinematic 16:9, right? Things can be like, iPhone is cinema quality now. I mean, there's no bones about it. People are able to film ads on these things, and those are more desirable because they can't, not only are they fast and cheap, don't get me wrong, but they're authentic. And what we're have been hearing for years now is on authenticity is what's required, because people are no longer willing to take the dream of airbrushed photo spreads and that kind of stuff. They want to know what they're getting and what it looks like on a real body, on real skin. And how it really drives. Sorry, Tesla truck, but you can't just make these things. You actually have to be authentic. And so I think that part of the pushback that we're going to see, like as a brighter side here, is that we're going to start seeing more client direct, because the need for those oversold ideas from agencies and the bloat that comes around it are going to start to fall away. I think. We'll see.
Yeah. We're watching this in real time, right? We're seeing we're seeing the model reinvent itself. And I know people are always, we've heard from a couple people, it's like, oh, we hear it's going to be slow until next year. Oh, we hear it's going to be slow until blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Right, because we all said that, 2023, fuck off, goodbye. Now 2024 is a new year, new time. We're all going to be, it's coming back.
Roaring 20s.
Here we are.
Yeah. So, I know it's for a lot of people, it's a really, really difficult, challenging time right now.
It's devastating. For sure.
And, there's no time. I know you want to hang on to something, but there is no timeline. We're just going to have to weather the storm. And this is the time when you work on yourself, you work on your websites, you reach out, you start finding other exciting things that bring you joy. And hopefully things come back to the way they were. But I think, this is a contraction that's happening.
It's not like I'm still dealing with this. And this is, just to be transparent, completely transparent and authentic for a moment, like I always am. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Like the thoughts that creep in our industry of like, well, did I do something on the last job to not get me hired for the next one? Maybe if I would just have masked a little bit better and been more pleasant and said, of course, no problem, instead of bringing up instead of communicating the pitfalls that I might have found, which I know that can be super spiral, right? 3 a.m. You're like, okay, why am I thinking these thoughts? It's hard, but just know that it's not you. Whether or not you're working right now and you are fortunate to be working or you're unfortunately not working, like there just isn't a lot of work going on right now. So it's definitely not you. It's them.
It's them.
It's them.
God damn it, it's them. Well, I hope analyzing it all and talking about it makes people feel better. I know we're not throwing jobs out to the audience, but at least, understanding what's going on in this industry could get, makes you feel a little more grounded. And I hope things change for people who are struggling right now.
Yeah. I still have hope. I do. Like I think that this is a time.
Share your hope. Share your hope with us.
Well, this is the time that I've been connecting with people that it's been a while. So reaching out and just connecting, it's commiserating a little bit or just hearing what their thoughts are. It's the validation. Because I know when we get super busy and we are working jobs back to back, like you don't have time for those things. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I remember why I chose freelance was like, I can pick my own hours. I get to work with who I want to. I can take a vacation whenever I want, which was all the things we used to tell ourselves. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's true. Like this is the time right now that I'll wish that I had later.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to somebody about this, if you are going through something that, if you would like to add your 2 cents to this, sign up for these office hours that we do, because I can tell you, we talk to people quite a bit out there and there is a theme going on right now of, this. And so we are happy to talk to you one-on-one about this too, and just listen.
Yeah.
If you need somebody to listen that with no judgment and who is going through the same thing you are, we're here for you.
Absolutely. You can grab time with us for office hours on our website, producershappyhour.com. Just scroll down to free resources. There's also a link in the show notes to schedule some time with us. We'd love to chat.
Love it. Like, in fact, we always go long because it's like, oh, and then this.
Yeah.
Or you got any hot gossip? Fucking sign up. We'd love to hear that. Or you want to talk about not work? Oh, totally.
Let's do it.
You got some beef with your neighbor? I'm down. So sign up. Let's go. It's your 30 minutes.
Christian, how do people get a hold of you if they want you?
Sister Christian produces occasionally.com. and Lawrence, if they want you, how are they going to get you?
LawrenceTLewis.com. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thanks for joining Producers Happy Hour.
If you got value from this episode, please don't keep it to yourself. Spread the love by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts.
And let's be honest, we wouldn't have the show without you. Your feedback helps us to keep making this amazing content.
This show is brought to you by our editor, Bren Russell at podlad.com.
And Christopher Daniels, who is our branding expert and one fabulous treatment designer.
So until next time, always remember,
making is hard.